New Nasiri is undoubtedly among the most important legacy of our administration.
Nigeria's journey on tech and innovation accelerated by Nasiri. Buhari surprises agency with unexpected gift.
The NSC will provide overall political leadership, strategic direction, and guidance for the implementation of an initiative in Nigeria in line with the national priorities.
Boosting agriculture, Nigeria takes bold steps from Vietnam, joins UN hand-to-hand initiative.
Ability to complete the project within the period projected 6 years period will continue to put pressure on the two seaports located in Port Harcourt and Lagos and the existing roads.
Plus, social investment bill progresses in the Senate as House of Reps seeks continuation of East-West Rail project. Hello and welcome to NTA Network News. I'm Ian John and we're live in Abuja. Adiola Komiokere joins me from Lagos. Thank you for joining us. And just to let you know that you can follow this news live on our website, nta.nj/live. NTA News Now and other social media platforms displayed on the screen for updates. We begin with the transport sector tonight as a new Civil Aviation Act 2022 has been signed into law by President Muhammadu Buhari towards repositioning the industry in full compliance with ICAO standards, as well as meeting the challenges of dynamic and rapidly growing air transportation. The president, who stated this while granting audience to the visiting delegation of ICAO Council, also confirmed his approval for the establishment of Aviation and Aerospace University in Abuja to cater for research and development in the sector. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo brings us details.
The International Civil Aviation Organization Council delegation, led by its president Salvatore Sciascitano, is in Abuja for the 2022 Air Services Negotiation Conference. It is a platform for the consolidation of all pending bilateral and multilateral air services agreements for enhanced and cost-effective air transportation globally.
More than 4,000 agreements have been reached thanks to this event.
Nigeria is going to sign with a few countries and everything is working very well.
President Muhammadu Buhari takes pride in the fact that Nigeria, which has been a member of ICAO since 1962 and championing the cause of aviation safety, security and facilitation in Africa, had ratified all international air law instruments.
Aviation industry in Nigeria is increasing by leaps and bounds. The sector under this administration has more than doubled. It became the fastest growing of our economy pre-COVID according to National Bureau of Statistics. Passenger numbers were raised from 8 to 20 million. The 5 new airport terminals have added 50 million passengers to our capacity. All this within the time we are in government.
While stating emphatically that the aviation roadmap being implemented by the minister Hadi Sirika is on course, the president said his administration also adopted a civil aviation policy centered on liberalization and public-private partnership initiative and designated 4 airports as free trade zones. In Abuja alone, he said 12,000 hectares of land is made available for investment towards driving more benefits in this regard.
We will continue to make significant investments in the provision of aviation infrastructure and facilities for safe, secure, environmentally friendly and sustainable economic development of international civil aviation. Our country will also keep supporting the ideals and aspirations of International Civil Aviation Organization and the achievements of its strategic objectives in collaboration with other member states of the organization.
Nigeria, the president said, has signed the pilot implementation of the single Africa air transport market in the spirit of the African Union Agenda 2063 and will continue to be committed to air transport liberalization and open skies. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
And away from our shores, President Muhammadu Buhari will on Wednesday in Bissau, Guinea-Bissau, be decorated with the country's highest honor in recognition of his contributions to the political stability of the West African nation. President Buhari will honor the invitation by President of Guinea-Bissau, Omar Sissoco Embalo, for the special ceremony that will be held at the presidential villa, which will include commissioning of a road named after him, Avenue President Muhammadu Buhari, at the capital city. The one-day celebration will highlight the leadership role of President Buhari in the West Coast, particularly in Guinea-Bissau. During the visit to Bissau, President Buhari and the Nigerian delegation will participate in a bilateral meeting. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has directed the conferment of excellence service as well as the National Honors Awards of Office of the Order of the Federal Republic on the Executive Vice Chairman of NASENI, Professor Muhammad Sani Haruna. This is in appreciation of his exemplary leadership and tireless efforts at making NASENI one of the important legacies his administration is bequeathing for a sustainable future to the country. The president gave the directive while inaugurating the Technology and Innovation Complex named after him at the headquarters of the agency. Again, State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the details.
It was a joyous moment of remarkable significance at the headquarters of NASENI as President Muhammadu Buhari came calling, the first by any Nigerian leader since the establishment of the agency over 3 decades ago. He is here to inaugurate the Muhammadu Buhari Technology and Innovation Complex that is critical to Nigeria's industrial and technological advancement. It consists of, amongst others, virtual reality, manufacturing, high-powered computing, and fourth industrial revolution laboratories, which the president says now guaranteed a more promising future for Nigeria's competitiveness amongst global economies.
With our deliberate repositioning of NASENI to be at par with other similar agencies of government across the world and optimal performance, we are convinced that the future maintenance and sustainability of our key national infrastructure are assured. New NASENI is undoubtedly among the most important legacy of our administration, is bequeathing to next government in 2023.
Apart from inventing useful and historic intelligence and defense-related equipment and devices, NASENI is currently implementing, amongst others, smart irrigation projects for multi-crop season farming, the National Tractor Recovery and Rehabilitation Project, the assembly of 2 helicopters towards first made in Nigeria helicopter, and the development of solar cells for 100% solar module production, thereby contributing to Nigerian transition to a manufacturing economy.
Let me emphasize that NASENI, under my watch as chairman, has done well. We are sure that these advanced science and engineering core facilities will assist our nation in the attainment of African Union's Agenda 2063 and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2030.
Mr. President, this has shown that you are very interested on how we can move our country from being a consumption country to a production country, and I pray that the foundation that has been laid will go a long way in shaping the economy of this great nation.
The Executive Vice Chairman of NASENI, Professor Muhammad Sani Haruna, sincerely appreciated President Muhammadu Buhari for his courage and political will in approving all that NASENI asks for, saying the agency is not only indebted to him and Nigeria, but resolutely committed to exceeding all expectations by contributing towards overcoming Nigeria's development challenges. for sustainable future.
Your Excellency, the same is ready, and God willing, we will soon provide innovative technology solution for stopping crude oil theft and bunkering, vandalization of power line and pipelines, as well as surveillance and monitoring devices for our rails, roads, and seas.
President Buhari later undertook a guided tour of exhibition stand where various innovative products were on display. Established in 1992, Naseni has a vision to create an enabling, knowledge-driven environment for local mass production of standard parts, goods and services required for Nigeria's technological advancement. In Abuja, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
And away from science and tech, a high-powered delegation of political, religious and business leaders from Gombe State has formally appreciated President Muhammadu Buhari for his role in the discovery of oil in commercial quantity in the Kolmani area. This was during a thank-you visit to the State House, from where Adamu Sambo reports.
The delegation led by Governor Muhammad Inuwa Yahya had told the president that with the successful flag-off of the Kolmani oil project, his footprints will remain indelible in the sands of time. Describing the gigantic project as a milestone for the entire country, the governor expressed the belief that it will enhance the nation's socio-economic fortunes, create jobs and benefit everyone. He assured the president of community support for the venture, promising that along with Bauchi State, where the oil field is jointly situated, they will ensure its success.
The Kolmani Integrated Development Project is really by no means a turning point in the history of hydrocarbon exploration and exploitation in Nigeria, especially in northern parts. That shows the commitment and focus of the President on improving the economy and energy security of our country. On our part, as professionals, we should continue to call on people to support and cooperate with the exploration companies and security agencies for the success of this project.
Governor Inuwa Yahya also appreciated the president for the enhanced federal presence in the state, like the takeover of Gombe Airport by the federal government, siting of an Air Force base, and the establishment of a federal polytechnic, amongst other projects.
History, we thank you, Your Excellency, for the efforts you made in transforming this country despite the hard times and taking Nigeria to this level. You have come, you saw, and you've conquered. Your name will be written in gold, Your Excellency. Any day, any time, the history of Nigeria is written.
President Muhammadu Buhari, who went down memory lane, said when he served as petroleum minister in the 70s, feasibility studies were carried out by government, believing it will further stabilize the polity.
We have to come down a bit southwards to go to Kolmani, further away from the terrorists from Boko Haram, to make sure that the prospection and development is not severely interfered with.
He therefore told the Gombe delegation to congratulate themselves rather than him for the oil find, saying, however, that their visit is a moral booster. On the political situation in the country preceding the next general elections, the president said off-season elections in Anambra, Ekiti and Osun states have shown that the government respects Nigerians and will allow them to choose their own leaders without interference or manipulation. He also said, irrespective of what some people say, his administration made giant strides in stabilizing the security situation in the country, reviving and diversifying the economy and fighting corruption.
I'm just very grateful that Nigerians have begun to understand I have been quite successful in my duty.
From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
In other news, President Muhammadu Buhari has reiterated once again that the 2023 general elections will be free, fair and credible, as manipulations will not be allowed in any form. The president gave the assurance while playing host to the West African Elders Forum pre-election mediation mission led by former Sierra Leonean President Dr. Ernest Koroma. He said the federal government would allow people to choose leaders they want in whatever party. saying no one will be allowed to use money and thugs to intimidate them. Former President Koroma, who led the team, said they had met with stakeholders across the parties, civil society and Independent National Electoral Commission, among others, and commended the president for making it clear, both locally and internationally, that the elections would be free and fair. He also appreciated President Buhari for not listening to voices that may have tried to convince him to seek a third term in office against the laws of the country, noting that other countries look up to Nigeria for direction. This is the Network News. Time for a break. Please stay.
The PNB Administration Scorecard Series will feature the Honorable Minister of Environment, Mr. Mohammed Hassan Abdullahi. Date, Wednesday, 7th December 2022. Time, 10 a.m. Venue, National Press Center, Radio House, Abuja. The event will be covered live by NTA, FRCN and VON, and streamed on the social media handles of the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture. Announcer, Mrs. Lydia Shehu Jafia, MNI, Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
We are committed to the unity of our great country, Nigeria.
Let us support our armed forces. Let us stand together with them. Let us stand for them. Our symbol of unity, the gallant men and women of the armed forces on land, air, and sea, who after furiously put their life on the line, protecting our lives, humanity, and the nation.
Let us join them and stick together as one, irrespective of our misunderstanding, be it political, cultural, or ideological.
Our uniqueness is our oneness, our strength is our diversity.
Let us stand by, stand with, and support our armed forces to keep this nation together.
Nigeria is my own. Nigeria is your own. Nigeria is our own.
Looking fresh for your dates? Get even fresher with Close Up. New Close Up Triple Fresh formula. It cleans deeply, fights 99% of bacteria, and cools intensely, keeping you protected and fresh. Still fresh, still protected. Feeling cool and protected. All day confidence to get close. New Close Up Triple Fresh formula.
A peak protein breakfast. Great day. How do I know? Because my daddy goes to work feeling good and always with a smile. Mommy is always filled with confidence. My sister is always in tune. And for me, learning new things becomes absolute fun. Because all day every day, you keep going.
Start your day. Protein breakfast.
The Honorable Minister of Power, Engineer Abubakar D. Aliyu, FNSC, FNICE, and the Honorable Minister of State for Power cordially invite state governments, ministries, departments, and agencies, as well as relevant stakeholders to its 5th National Council on Power, NACOP 2022. Theme: Sustaining and improving electricity supply through the power sector value chain for socio-economic growth. Venue: Barcelona Hotel, number 23 Blantyre Street, Wuse 2, Abuja. Date: 5th to 8th December 2022. Time: 9 a.m. Technical session: 5th to 7th December 2022. Executive session: 8th December 2022. Memoranda with recommendations are therefore invited from state governments, various ministries, departments, and agencies, and other relevant stakeholders. Electronic copies of the memoranda should be forwarded to Ashotibo Lambert, Deputy Director, Planning, Research, and Statistics, while hard copies should be forwarded to the Office of the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Power. All submissions should reach the above address on or before 4th December 2022. Announcer, Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Power.
My people, let me scammers. Let me get all this people. I don't learn my lesson. Somebody come buy motor for my hand, carry big money, come give me. Now when they do bust, when my eye open, I know see that 419 will be. Now when EFCC bomb, now they come back me too. Now he make me, they warn you, all of them, I want to do business like me. When they carry big money, when I go, sometimes I go carry transfer, carry bring back. they could have shine in my eye because the special control unit against money laundering, when they call SCUMO, they don't want to say if the money pass 5 million naira for individual, no collect them. If you pass 10 million naira for company, no collect them. Can I go where? Bank. If you don't do one like that, 250,000 naira for every day where this offense happen, or they go suspend your license, or they go shut them down. For your hand. You talk say I know 1 year.
This message is from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
Welcome back. The presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has pledged commitment to boosting Nigeria's economy if elected in a forthcoming general election. He said this during his campaign rally in Owerri, Imo State, where he also promised to pay attention to Nigeria's unity. Kate Osumwa has details.
The presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, who arrived at the Kanuwa Sports Center Owerri alongside his running mate Baba Ahmed Dati and other party stalwarts, received by his supporters. The presidential candidate, in company of his wife, promises to reposition Nigeria through provision of quality education and improved healthcare delivery. He assures of total fight against corruption and adequate security for Nigerians.
It's time for Nigeria to belong to everybody. God has given you a sword that is ready to wash your flesh. A sword that is not to be by his people. All Nigerians.
All the youths have queued behind Obi. But when they locked up their shops today to welcome Peter Obi, that's to tell you that votes in Imo State will be for Peter Obi.
This visit also afforded the party opportunity to canvass support for all candidates of the Labour Party in Owerri. Kate Usumwa, NTA News.
And away from politics, the application of technology and innovation in the agricultural sector remains one of the answers to the concern over how Africa will feed its growing population, which stands at 1 billion people. This is the view of Vice President Yemish Bajo when he visited the Vietnam Academy of Agricultural Sciences in Vietnam, and he stresses the importance of collaboration between the two countries towards meeting global food targets. State House correspondent Dido Nifade reports.
Many low-hanging fruits, one can say, that are up for grabs in this visit of the Vice President to Vietnam. One of these is the opportunity for cooperation in agricultural science and technology between Nigeria and Vietnam. The visit to this Vietnam Academy of Agricultural Sciences by Vice President Yemish Bajo is observed as a commitment by the federal government to the scientific research and technology application for agricultural development.
We formed targets that we want people to become net exporters of some of our produce. I think Vietnam has demonstrated that in the economy can still be one of the major exporters of agricultural products.
Another is the visit to the Food Processing Technology University, also known for its high capacity in software development. The two found a melting point in which to collaborate, with Nigeria eager to develop its science and technology, meeting an investor willing to expand its services to African countries, and in particular Nigeria.
Big country like Nigeria can make something similarly happen.
So I certainly look forward to this and we can be sure that the government of Nigeria will be very happy to work with you.
The Vice President also had discussions with the Vietnamese Prime Minister on areas of mutual interest and on how to further strengthen the bilateral relation which started way back in 1976. The Vice President was later treated to a state banquet with many high-ranking officials and businessmen and women in attendance.
And we look forward in the next months and years for even greater cooperation and greater high-level visits between our countries.
In Hanoi, Vietnam, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
And back home, Nigeria is keying into the United Nations Agricultural Development Program, tagged Hand in Hand Initiative. Musa Babali reports that in line with this, an interministerial committee made up of representatives of the Ministers of Agriculture, Water Resources, Environment and Humanitarian and Social Development has been inaugurated.
Hand in Hand Initiative is a strategy created by the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, FAO, to eradicate hunger and poverty by accelerating agricultural transformation and sustainable development. This is the FAO country representative briefing the members of the Interministerial Committee on the implementation of the program in Nigeria.
In other words, that we have two tracks, one that would look at the developmental economic aspects, in which case interventions and investments and policies that support value chain development, that would support agro-processing in particular regions where there's high potential for those. And then the second track would look at the humanitarian, social development issues that are key in different contexts.
The four key ministries believe that Nigeria is accepting the program with a view to supporting agricultural transformation and rural development while building the resilience of vulnerable population.
The NSC will provide overall political leadership, strategic direction and guidance for the implementation of an initiative in Nigeria in line with the national priorities.
My ministry's desire and commitment to continue to provide a conducive atmosphere for the Hand in Hand initiative, and will be fully committed to this membership of the National Steering Committee on the implementation of the Hand in Hand initiative in Nigeria.
We must find a way to expand more land for irrigation without investing too much capital, and that's why using groundwater and taking along with micro irrigation is something that we must do.
We give you assurances and to Mr. President that we're in sync with this initiative and hope that we achieve results as quickly as possible.
To this end, government at both the national and state level will work with the UN agency for the successful implementation of the program in Nigeria. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
We head to the National Assembly now, where Senate has passed the National Social Investment Program Establishment Bill for second reading. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo reports that the bill also seeks to establish the National Social Investment Program Agency.
The National Social Investment Program, initiated in 2015 by President Muhammadu Buhari, has been Nigeria's fulcrum for poverty alleviation in the last 7 years. In order to ensure the sustainability of the program and give it legal backing, President Muhammadu Buhari sent in a bill to the Senate for consideration. Less than 2 weeks, the proposed law has passed second reading.
1 million youths have been empowered through the Empower program, and the additional 500,000 are undergoing various training.
By people could be monitored, and whatever was given to them could also be monitored.
This particular bill attempts to cushion what people are going through.
Now, we are pleased that it has come as an executive bill for us to establish a system, through which, a proper implementation, can take place.
I believe that this is an effort by the administration to ensure that there is a legacy for this program, and also a legacy that can make the program more transparent
Senators observed that the absence of an institutionalized process is a challenge for the program at the moment. Also passed for second reading are the Produce Act Repeal and Reenactment Bill, sponsored by Senator Ibrahim Gobir, and the Federal Inland Revenue Service Act Amendment Bill, sponsored by Senator Yahya Abdullahi.
A bill for an act to amend the Federal Inland Revenue Act 2007 to provide for single agency administration of corporate tax holidays, import duty waivers, and investment incentives, and for other matters connected there to 2022 second reading taken.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has written to Senate seeking the confirmation of Aisha Ahmad and Edward Adamu as deputy governors of the Central Bank of Nigeria for a second and final term, and Ayuba Mbako as member representing FCT at the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission.
Federal Capital Territory Administration FCT 2023 statutory budget proposal is hereby sent to us by Mr. President.
From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo.
And in the Green Chambers, the federal government has been urged to continue the implementation of the East-West Coastal Rail Line project as approved by the Federal Executive Council in 2021. National Assembly correspondent Lamiale reports that the call was in response to a motion from Representative Dozie Nwakwo on the project, the contract of which was awarded at a cost of $11.1 billion.
Representative Dozie Nwakwo told House members that the 1,400-kilometer-long standard gauge rail line has a 6-year completion period, but that the Federal Ministry of Transportation stopped work on the project this year.
Inability to complete the project within the period projected 6 years period will continue to put pressure on the two seaports located in Port Harcourt and Lagos and the existing roads.
House members noted the socio-economic importance of the project, which will link several states and cities across the southern parts of the country by rail. Other features at plenary include the approval of 559 billion naira statutory budget for the Nigerian Communications Commission for 2023. The House passed for second reading bill to amend Child Rights Act by introducing the imposition of sanctions on any parent that abandons a newborn child or absconds after birth.
And upon conviction, be liable to fine of 200,000 naira or imprisonment for 6 months or to both.
People abandoned on the streets, and so it's seeking for punishment.
11 bills were read the third time and passed, among them bills to establish Federal Medical Center Abuja, Federal Medical Center Okigwe, and Federal College of Nursing and Midwifery Chibok. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Elsewhere, the federal government has constituted a special panel to unravel individuals or groups of persons behind oil theft in the country. The National Security Advisor, Babagana Moganu, while inaugurating the investigative panel, stressed that no individual, group, or agency will be spared.
Those people serving or retired who have had any connection, who the government has actually reposed confidence in to protect our national assets, who have this perception that being ensconced in the bowels of the state by virtue of their emplacement can escape the long arm of the law. We must fish them out.
Terms of reference of the panel include to ascertain the circumstances surrounding the illegal insertion into Escravos pipeline and examine the roles of regulatory agency, security and international oil companies aiding the criminal expertise. Major General Barry Njoman is the chairman of the panel bid to submit its report on or before the 21st of February 2022. Efforts of the federal government to deepen local content in the oil and gas sector is yielding results as more indigenous exploration and production companies emerge in the sector. Addressing key industry players at the 11th Practical Nigerian Content Forum, Executive Secretary, Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, Simbi Wambote, says the Nigerian content level has moved to 54% in 2022. Clement Barakuyu reports.
Nigeria, no doubt, has the largest gas reserves in Africa and is ranked the 6th in the world. This underscores the need to leverage on these rich gas reserves to make the country not just a major exporter, but a major gas consuming nation. Achieving this in line with the 10-year roadmap of the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board necessitated this 11th Practical Forum, where key industry players admitted that the Nigerian content is working to meet up with the rising global demand for cleaner energy sources.
We will have robust gas supply infrastructure, enough to meet our needs in the next 2 to 3 years, as we continue to build more and more and bigger infrastructure. We need the collective strength of government and the industry working together and removing bottlenecks constraining development of our gas resources.
The need to create more opportunities for indigenous players in the Nigeria oil and gas sector is both compelling and imperative.
We have seen the emergence of indigenous companies with capacity to operate in various sectors of the petroleum industry.
5 years into the roadmap, Nigerian content level in the Nigerian oil and gas industry is 54%, and the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board is highlighting the need to deliver a minimum of 11% year-on-year growth rate for the country to achieve the 70% Nigerian content target by 2027.
The top 3 performers of in-country spend in 2022 are fabrication and construction at 99%, Nigerian content, manpower at 81%, and project management at 80% Nigerian content.
Today, there are 15 oil and gas companies currently operating in this state.
What strategies will the federal government employ to encourage non-associated gas production? How attractive is non-associated gas production under the provision of the Petroleum Industry Act? And what provision has been made to significantly increase gas pipeline infrastructure were some questions that dominated the panel's discussions. In Uyo, Clement Barikui, NTA News.
And we head to Borno State now, where Governor Babagana Umar Zulum says the government will continue to partner the federal government in fashioning out various humanitarian interventions that will mitigate social vulnerabilities of youth and children. The governor made a remark at the closing of the 3 weeks training for 930 youth facilitators of the At-Risk Children Project, a program under the Office of the Vice President. Yagumsu Booker reports.
Risk Children Project is an initiative of the Buhari administration through the Office of the Vice President with the aim of finding solutions to prolonged vulnerabilities of children who lack social protection and luxury of formal education. Borno State Governor, represented by his Deputy Umar Usman Kadafur, appreciated the federal government for the implementation of the project, describing the training as act. Considering the prevailing socio-economic and political challenges, charged facilitators to replicate the knowledge and mentor the children.
Let me therefore use this medium to express my profound gratitude to Mr. President for giving Borno State the chance to be part of the ACP in the country.
National Coordinator ACP, Dr. Mariam Uwais said implementation of the project became necessary considering figures from the National Bureau of Statistics that over 20 million people are vulnerable globally, with Borno having about 1.8. Hence, charged the facilitators to be committed to the project.
We need to put a system in place to be able to address this thing on a more permanent basis. When we get feedback from these youths, we'll be able to address the problems in a more strategic manner.
We have hope and confidence with our youth facilitators that they're up to the task and they will deliver what is expected of them.
With the implementation of this federal government's project in Borno, over 40,000 children are expected to be taken off the streets. In Maiduguri, Yagum Subukar, NTA News.
And from Borno, we head to Kano, where establishment of sexual assaults rehabilitation centers and psychosocial services for support of victims of gender-based violence are key curative remedies that give hope to the victims. This forms part of discussions at a 3-day workshop organized by Development Research and Project Center with the support of Ford Foundation for Hisba officials across northwestern states. Yahanasu Hassan has details.
Northwestern states, according to findings by the National Bureau of Statistics, are ranked highest on the index of gender-based violence. Concerned by these dehumanizing revelations, the Development Research Project and Ford Foundation initiated this 3-day sensitization workshop for Hisba officials across the northwestern states on the Islamic perspective for the protection of children and women's rights. Umar, a Hisba official, had traveled hundreds of kilometers from Zamfara State to be equipped with first-hand information on proactive roles the Hisba can play in preventing cases of assault and violent attacks children and women have been facing on a recurring basis.
Will assist us in our state to have an awareness.
The Hisba as a commission that have a particular role stated by most of the states and have been gazetted and accepted to serve as the second police in those states, have a big role to play, particularly in the prevention of girl-child violence.
Getting somewhere, people are accepting to talk about it.
Various Sharia penal laws, as it operates in some parts of northern states, have also serious provisions contained to deal with violence. But the challenge we have is the implementation of these laws.
The Prophet ﷺ is treating his family, starting with the wives and then the children. If we can emulate him, we the Muslims today, and do it the way he did, there shall be no gender-based or domestic-based violence.
The Train the Trainer program is therefore planned to be stepped down to field officials who, after the 16 days activism, will uphold and expand the crusade with a view to ending all forms of gender-based violence. In Kano, Yahan.
And from Kano, we head to Lagos, where Adiola is standing by to feed us with the latest from that zone. Adiola, it's over to you.
Nigeria is still regarded as the e-waste capital of Africa, with Lagos at the center of it all. As part of ongoing efforts to address the trend, the federal government is adopting strategies that will ensure all sectors of the economy fall in line with relevant national environmental regulations on proper disposal and management of e-waste. Jennifer Igwe reports.
Technological development is birthing new innovation rapidly, resulting in more generation of electrical and electronic devices, including used batteries.
Approximately 110,000 tons of used lead-acid batteries are generated in Nigeria annually from the automotive and renewable energy sectors.
To ensure proper disposal, recycling and environmentally sound management of e-waste in Nigeria, federal government is adopting the Extended Producers Responsibility Program and Circular Economy. To ensure all sectors are involved, sensitization and interactive meetings are ongoing.
So in line with the provisions of the National Environmental Regulations, all existing facilities are mandated to conduct environmental audit every 3 years, either the industries, production industries, and the banking sectors.
Over 25 e-waste collection centers exist in Lagos under the Extended Producers Responsibility Program. The state is the pilot for the initiative, which is expected to be replicated in all parts of the country. In Lagos, Jennifer Igwe, NTA News.
The aspiration of women, either as individuals or a group, to become functional members of the society who contributes to societal growth can only be realized in an atmosphere where they feel safe and protected. The need to ensure this is the overriding message of an awareness work against sexual and gender-based violence tagged No Tolerance March, organized by Women at Risk Foundation with the support of the U.S. Consulate in Lagos. Adeneye Taiwo reports.
The walk, which took off from Ikoyi Link Bridge to Lekki and its environs, is more than mere physical movement of a people, but rather a movement behind a cause to keep the spotlight on gender violence. This inscription says it all, echoing the desire of these advocates to see a world where women are made safer from sexual predators and perpetrators of other crimes against them.
We adopt health, educational, and community service programs. We run a free rape clinic in Yaba, where we welcome all survivors.
We are trying to create awareness by letting everybody know that it's time to stop violence against women, and we have to be very vocal and not keep quiet about these issues.
As young people, we are choosing to raise our voices against this menace. And you know, the beautiful thing about it is it doesn't take one person, it takes all of us to work together, because you see, everybody knows a woman, everybody knows a girl. Whether it's your colleague, your wife, you know somebody that's a woman.
The main message, according to some of the organizers, is not just to tear off the shroud of secrecy, which often cover cases of sexual violence against women, and encourage a new culture of blowing the lid of such acts, but also to let women know that they can aspire to any noble heights.
Most importantly, we teach our boys, not just the men, our boys who are becoming men tomorrow, on how to respect, protect, and support women. And
supported by the U.S. Consulate in Lagos, the walk is part of 16 days of activism which began on November 25, all aimed at building needed solidarity against the scourge of sexual and gender-based violence. In Lagos, Adeneye Taiwo, NTA News.
And that wraps our contribution from Lagos. So remember that you can still follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media platforms displayed on the screen for updates. The news will continue after this time out. To stay.
Feliz Navidad.
Glow wishes you a Merry Christmas.
In my family, everybody wants more.
Mom, knowledge!
I just want more of anything that is good for my family. That is why I use Tasty Tom Enriched Tomato Mix. It's thick and gives my meals an appealing red color. It helps me cook delicious meals. And what's more, it's enriched with vitamins and fiber that are good for the body. What more could a mother want?
Please give me more.
Mommy, I want
It's time you try Tasty Tom Enriched Tomato Mix because it's enriched with vitamins and fiber. Tasty Tom, for tasty meals good for you. Available in convenient sachets that are easy to open and easy to store.
This is the moment we've been waiting. It's time to rise up, do it again. Africa, do your dance now. God, do your winning dance now. So we never lose it again. We can rise up, yes, we gon' rise up, we gon' rise up. We can rise up, yes, we gon' rise up, we can rise up.
To every politician, as the campaigns gain momentum and passions begin to rise, remember, the errors of your opponents do not make you a success. Do not run down your opponent and inflame passions to violence between and among your supporters. What counts is what you plan to do for the electorate and how you intend to relieve the sufferings and bring succor. Nigeria is in dire need of patriotic leaders at all levels, leaders who will make national development their priority. Concentrate on telling the electorate what you intend to do when you get into office. Focus on making your vision clear to the electorate. Don't engage in verbal abuses, fake news or speeches. Keep dealing with issues that will bring progress. You win the hearts and minds of the people by being above board, by being civil, patriotic, and showing empathy. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. A message from the National Orientation Agency.
Welcome back. The Court of Appeal sitting in Owerri has notified the candidacy of Emeka Atuma of the All Progressives Congress, APC, for Abia Central Senatorial election. In a unanimous judgment, the three-man panel of justices led by Justice Rita Pemu ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to recognize Sam Onuigbo as the winner and authentic candidate of the APC. Granting the praise of Onuigbo, the appellate court upheld the legality of the party primary held on May 28, 2022, which produced Onuigbo, who scored the highest number of votes. And away from the courtroom, global market space is already going digital, and there is no way it can be fully explored without keying into the current trend. This is why the NTA Marketing Directorate is engaging officers across the states for Capacity Development Conference in Abuja. Charles Alpha reports.
On any other day, these marketing officers would be out there canvassing for adverts and sponsorship. But there comes a time when sales performance has to be reviewed and commendation required to encourage individuals. The world of marketing is moving thick and fast and requires the latest skills and knowledge to catch up.
With what we are going to learn here for the next 3 days, it's going to help us to improve, to make more money for NTA.
NTA Marketing Directorate cannot afford to be left behind and have assembled marketing managers, their assistants, as well as other officers to upscale their ideas on new digital marketing skills.
This is an essential platform which gives us the opportunity to candidly assess our performance, looking at where we are coming from, where we are, and where we would want to be.
Director General of NTA, Salim Abdulhamid Dembos, acknowledged the importance of Marketing Directorate to any organization, saying more success can be achieved through synergy in the face of stiff competition.
For now, we have so much enjoyed competitive advantage through monopoly. But this monopoly has been broken today, but I'm very, very passionate and before the management. And we truly believe that it is wrong. All we need to do is the will to do it.
The Marketing Directorate can now look back and boast of so many achievements it has recorded and expects to deliver more after necessary ideas have been infused in these participants. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
And yes, Benny is here for more business stories. Benny, it's over to you.
Thank you, Harry, and welcome to business. Start by telling you that a coalition of civil society advocates have the view that increased participation by youth in the nation's agricultural value chain through public-private partnership is one of the sure ways of attaining the nation's diversification drive.
Based on this NTA report, there's 132 million people now in Nigeria that are poor.
Nigerian government to see how they can strengthen the diversification of the Nigerian economy in terms of deepening diversification, not at this minimal level that it is at the moment.
Taking a look at the markets, Nigeria's equities appreciated by 0.20% at the end of today's trading session. A total of 184.6 million shares in 3,189 deals, corresponding to a market value of 3.571 billion naira, were traded. Compared with the previous trading day, today's data shows 38% improvement in turnover, but 9% decline in deals. The current market capitalization is 26.3 trillion naira. FBN Holdings recorded the highest volume of 66.1 million traded shares, followed by Transcorp Nigeria 36.6 million, Geregu Power 17.5 million, and Access Holdings 7.35 million shares. That is Business News. Network News continues after this break.
In a third final in 20 years.
This out of his votes, now you can get a GoTV decoder, GoTV, and 1 month of GoTV Jolly for only 4,900 naira and enjoy all the show-stopping games live from Qatar on GoTV.
Let's have a bit on sports.
The only surviving African representative at the ongoing World Cup in Qatar, Morocco picked one of the last tickets to the quarterfinals of the championship Tuesday night after defeating former world champions Spain 3-0 via penalties to qualify for the quarterfinal stage for the first time in its history. It was goalless during regulation time. And from the home front, Shooting Stars of Ibadan returned to winning ways Tuesday evening in Ikenne with a 3-0 win over Insurance Football Club of Benin in one of the match day one of the NPFL Super 4. In another news, with 4 days to the end of the 2022 National Sport Festival in Asaba Delta State, Commissioner for Information Charles Aniago, in an exclusive interview with NTA, says the festival is living up to the expectations of the organizers. He commended the athletes for the spirit of sportsmanship displayed so far during the games, adding that the MOC is poised to ensure that the athletes are comfortable during their stay in Asaba.
For new talents to emerge, for new records to emerge as well, and then for old records to be shattered. And that already we are seeing, which means the game is living up to its billing. And one important thing too is that the unity and the bond that now exists among the different athletes, irrespective of their state, is very, very exciting to us.
Also, Paul Omukago reports that wrestling, with over 90 medals to be competed for, is underway among other sports. In hockey, Team Delta is on course for podium finish after beating Team Katsina 2-0 Tuesday afternoon to qualify for the semi-final of the male event. Same for Team Lagos that defeated Team Bayelsa via a long goal. With sports update, Olumide Guntola, NTA News.
The families of Kukumene Abite, Igbekigri Kyo and Mande Tobomie of River State have released details of the funeral arrangement of their daughter, sister, mother, grandmother and great-grandmother, late Mrs. Tamunomi Tie Abite Tombo Mie, aged 85. The funeral arrangement signed by Adokie Tombo Mie on behalf of the families indicates that there will be a service of songs at EUI Center, Port Harcourt, Plot F11, Sania Bata Road, GRA, Phase 3 on Wednesday, 7th December 2022 at 5 p.m, while on Friday, 9th December 2022, Brother Lives Port Harcourt to Bile Kingdom at 9 a.m. Funeral service will be on Saturday, December 10, 2022 by 11 a.m. at St. Silas Pro Cathedral, Bile Kingdom. And that's NTA Network News tonight. Many thanks for watching. Please remember, rape is a crime. You donate for. Good night.